I always feel a bit weird when I introduce videos like these, where I go searching for an animal and I don't know if I'm going to find it, so I don't know if it's going to be worth filming anything at all. But today I've come to Whitlingham Broad on the outskirts of Norwich, and I'm hoping to see a Goose Ander. I've never seen one before. I've only got about an hour and 10 minutes till it gets dark, so let's get cracking. You might remember Whitlingham from a couple of other videos on this channel, but this is the first time that I filmed here during the colder months. It's made up of two old water-filled gravel pits, and it didn't take long to find my first bit of wildlife. I'm just passing by the end of the small lake, and in the distance over there I can see some white birds. I know they're egrets, but there may be more than one type, so let's take a closer look at them quickly. Egrets are members of the heron family. They often roost communally with other similar species, and here I can see three. This one, with its yellow bill, black feet and larger size, is a great white egret. It's the rarest of the trio, and it only breeds in a handful of sites in Norfolk. Below it were two little egrets, which, although you cannot see it here, have black bills and yellow feet and are much smaller than the great white egret. But slightly larger than it, and also present, was a grey heron. It had its head tucked away, but look at its beautiful chest plumes moving in the wind. I carried on walking and soon passed along a raised ridge that runs between the two pits, and just after that I made it to where the pathway meets with the River Yare. Looking back towards the larger pit, I spotted this bird in the distance, and although Goose Anders do spend a lot of their time on the water, this was not one of them, and was instead a great crested grebe in winter plumage. In the distance, another little egret had just landed in the branches of a bankside tree. From this footage you should be able to make out its black bill and yellow feet. I always think these birds look so uncomfortable trying to balance among the twigs, and was surprised the first time that I saw one do it, having only seen them wading through water before then. My Goose Ander hunt wasn't going too well, and the sun seemed to be setting way quicker than I had expected. But things were about to get a little bit worse. The path to where I thought my best chances of seeing one was flooded, but I was wearing wellies, so I thought I'd get through with dry feet. That was a mistake. Well, welcome to my island, where I've made a couple of discoveries. First off, all the birds that are normally here are not here at the moment, and secondly, my wellies are not waterproof. Both of them, I've got wet feet. So that's great. Good thing it's coming up to Christmas. Maybe my wife can get me some more. But yeah, I'm going to take a close look outside. Hopefully I better show you some birds at least. This is normally a view of a sheltered bay where the waterfowl gather, but not today. The only birds braving the waves and the wind were this mute swan, who was featuring a bit of a unique hairstyle, some black-headed gulls, and a few tufted ducks. Most of the birds in sight were roosting out of the water, including a couple of juvenile great cormorants. As they get older, their undersides will gradually get darker until they are almost fully covered in glossy black feathers. On another post was this juvenile gull, which I believe is a first winter herring gull. Young gulls can be hard to separate, so if you think I'm wrong and have a reason why, please let me know in the comments. The waves continued to lap against my island, and although it wasn't raining, it definitely felt as if the water level was still rising, so I dipped my toes once again and continued on my way. I soon returned to dry land and continued along a path between the river and the pit. In the distance, I could see several small birds in the high branches of this leafless tree. Here's a better view of them. They are linnets, a small member of the finch family, and I think this might be the first time that they're featured on this channel. They are beautiful birds, but I'll save talking about them until another time when I can hopefully get some better footage. By now, the sun had dropped below the horizon. I had another fantastic opportunity to fill my wellies with water before stopping to take a brief look at this raft of tufted ducks. The ones with white wings are males, and those with brown wings are females. They're diving ducks and can swim down to up to 14 meters deep in search of small creatures to eat. I almost completed my lap around the lakes now, no Goose Ander, but as I passed by this little ditch, I looked in and I could see there's lots of small fish there. So I have stuck the camera underneath. Typically it isn't working, it isn't letting me go back and see what I've filmed, but hopefully I've filmed some fish, and if I have, I'll show you right now. Well, as you can guess, I did manage to film some fish. In fact, I managed to film lots of them. It was quite dark underwater, but from what I can see, these are mostly medium-sized roach. They've probably all gathered here in the hopes of staying out of the way of the birds in the main lakes. Every species I've shown you so far, except for the linnets, will gladly try to eat a small roach if they could. In cold weather, fish metabolisms slow right down, so although in the summer they do have a chance of swimming away from predators, in the winter that isn't really a great strategy for them. I really love showing you scenes like this, especially in places where there is so much life just outside of the gaze of the hundreds of people who pass by every day. I left them to their winter retreat and carried on back towards the car. I've pretty much given up on seeing a goose ander by now, but it's not over until it's over. And just as I was filming this territorial swan, I noticed something different among the waterfowl. And you won't believe this, I was about to leave, I've just stopped off where people feed the ducks and swans, which is not where I thought the goose ander would be, and it's here. In fact, it's there right now. It's staying really close and I think I've got some cool footage of it, so let me show you. Oh yes, another one of my long-running wildlife goals has been achieved. I've been trying to find a goose ander for 2 years, and I don't think I could have found a more confiding one if I tried. With its brown head, this is a female. Goose anders are members of the sawbill family, named after their serrated long beaks which help them to grip hold of fish, which make up a lot of their diet. They breed in northern parts of the UK, but not in Norfolk, and are only seen here occasionally throughout most winters. I know this isn't the best footage, and I've actually seen another goose ander since filming this just a week ago, which you can see over on my Instagram, but what a way to round off the year. As I'm editing this, I now know it will be live on Christmas Eve, so I'd like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for supporting the channel this year. And how great was that? I cannot believe that last place, literally the last place I was going to look, and it was there. Today was going to be a success anyway. I've already seen loads of wildlife and I've got to enjoy some winter sun. But seeing that goose ander was the cream on the cake. I think it's not that, I think it's the icing on the cake. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, check out the one that's on the screen now for more British wildlife. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.